family and friends of PRN stars, what was your initial reaction after finding out your friend or relative got into pornography? A male friend of mine played a part in a PRNO once. It was pretty bad and he did it for kicks and the money. It was just him and a chick. Chick wasn't very pretty and everything about it was really bad. Wouldn't watch it again. Was impressed with the size of his penis. Oh. Edit. Damn, this post went up quicker than his dick did in the PRNO. To answer most of your questions. Yes. I complimented him in real life. Not exactly the same. But I once found a couple videos of myself and an ex on one of those amateur submit your own sites. Apparently a guy she was seeing found them on her computer. Got Ed. I wonder what his thought process was. This guy Ed my girlfriend before we were together. I better show everyone. Had a crush on a cute girl in high school. I was socially awkward to the point I didn't talk to her. Just admired from a distance. Some people always wonder about the past. Well, for $20 I could watch a video of her fisting her asshole. I'm more than comfortable saying my curiosity is satisfied. I have a sense of closure many don't achieve with early crushes. Edit. True to Reddit. My all-time top comment is about my perversion and a grade school crush from over 10 years ago. And on my main account no less. That's not creepy at all. Right? Actually no, two girls that did PRN. Was not surprised about either of them. One of them was Ed, her boyfriend dumped her because of it though. My friend made PRN films. Didn't have a problem with it. After a few years, he switched to filming weddings. Problem was he called himself an experienced cinematographer and his PRN films are listed on his IMDb page. Not sure that's a good idea. Edit. Just to clarify, I've no issue with anything to do with sex industry or workers moving into more mainstream filming afterwards. Good for them. It's just weddings do weird things to people and their decision making progress. Edit 2. Just to clarify. My first high school crush became a PRN actress. Even by PRN acting standards I'm using that term loosely. Halfway through high school, she moved away and transferred to a different school. Through a mutual friend. We reconnected at a party at my college. After she moved away, she dropped out of school. Became a stripper. Started doing drugs. Dated her drug dealer. Became an escort. Then got into PRN. The most shocking part for me was how she was bizarrely upfront about all of this. I went to high school with a girl that got into the business. She was a looker. The content was less than satisfying. I was disappointed to say the least. Knew a guy in college. Wouldn't say we were friends but we went to a lot of the same parties and were always cool with each other. One night, he got a little drunk and started talking about how he did PRN. Obviously we all get curious and start asking questions. He said he started off by doing some nude modeling. Then they had another guy come out and had them make out. They then offered him a couple grand to suck dick and then even more to take it in the ass. Now the thing was, this dude hooked up with a lot of hot chicks. Would have never guessed he did gay PRN. I was really kinda shocked and that guy definitely had a bad rep after that. I personally didn't care but he was known as the dude who took it in the ass for money and that's usually socially suicide. It's called gay for pay. Male actors get paid less than female actors so to make ends meet. Hell, many male actors take better paying gay PRN jobs. She was fun as hell and we'd always do spontaneous like go hiking at 5 AM after staying up the whole night drinking. Or go on spontaneous road trips. It was always an adventure with her and we got along so well by our passion for adventure and creating memories and stories for our future. We loved each other. Liked to cuddle and kiss but never sex. We had a very strange relationship but it was awesome. Unfortunately she ended up using heroin and meth and became a totally different person so I stopped hanging out with her. A year later I saw the PRNO. It creeped me the out. She was obviously doped up as hell and all life drained from her eyes. I would get boners watching her strip in the past. She had a gorgeous body. But watching the PRNO was just disturbing as I didn't even get 1% boner watching it. I have a friend who got into PRN for a while. Mostly solo stuff. At a party he shared with several of us that he had been doing PRN for a while and showed us. It was weird. But not unwelcome. Since he is attractive. Even so. A little too much butt play for my taste. It definitely played a big part in his breakup with his longtime girlfriend. In addition, a different friend of mine has posted her nudes here on Reddit. Which I stumbled into on our all. Once again. I'm not complaining. Bonnie Rotten was my first girlfriend. We dated for like a week in early high school and I'm pretty sure we were never exclusive. But whatever. Close bracket. I told her she looked like she should do PRN and she was genuinely flattered. Like the second time we hung out. It was us and 2 other guys. We all took off our pants and watched PPVPRN on the couch while she laid across our laps. She also had DTF tattooed across her hip at like 14 years old. Basically, everyone knew it was coming and no one was surprised by what kind of PRN she went into. Edit. I'm using dated extremely loosely. It was literally the level of interaction you'd expect from a 7th grader. Except I was a 16-year-old autist who had never touched a girl. We talked on MySpace and on the phone a couple of times. We hung out one-on-one maybe twice and nothing interesting happened. Watched Fight Club. Listened to metal. My bedroom smelled like cigarettes for like 3 days after she left. I decided I just wasn't really into her. But we hung out as friends for a bit after. 2 girls from my high school went on to do PRN. One is about 4-5 years younger than me. I'm 26 now. And the other is the same age and was in study hall with me. Both the PRN and the girls were crappy. Except one of the girls wore a contraption called the monkey bars, basically a weightlifting belt with 2 handlebar grips, which I thought was innovative. Best part is, monkey bars girl had been posting lots of expensive handbags and pictures of stacks of money on Facebook. And a girl who she had always feuded with posted a picture of said PRN girl with a dick and big cum shot on her face with a caption saying, "I bet everyone wonder where you got that money," and that was pretty much how the story broke. Her ex-boyfriend was and continues to be Ed that he never got to use the monkey bars. Searching their PRN and jerking off to it. This'll probably get buried, but here's my story. I used to work at a call center a long time ago. One of my co-workers was a little person. She was a super nice lady, always happy. Big smile on her face all the time and told wholesome stories. She was the type of person that would brighten everyone's day just by being there. We worked for years in the same office. Then one day, on a Saturday morning, I get woken up by a text message from another coworker. All it says is, "Does she look familiar?" I was curious, so I opened the message and there was a picture attached to it. It was her. Ass naked. Riding dick. What? Then a few hours later, a URL to her PRN site came through. Oh no. No 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 no. Yep. She did midget PRN on the side. Of course. We didn't tell anyone about it. That's the kind of thing that would destroy office etiquette. Kept working together for another year or 2 until she left for another job. We weren't friends, but I went to school with the PRN twins. Imagine the most beautiful woman you can and then imagine making a clone of her. And then BSP. It's the opposite of that. And then BSP. Edit. Not the exact opposite. Just the beautiful part, really. I kind of feel bad now. They seemed like nice enough people. And then BSP. Edit 2. Thanks for the gold. Kind stranger. A couple years ago my buddy sublet his room to girl who, 1 year later, I found out was a PRN star, haha. That summer we hung out all the time, so it was pretty funny when I ran into her at a bar the next summer, and after she left my friend was like, "How TF do you know so and so?" and proceeded to show me some of her videos. Not quite the same. But before I switched to romance I used to write erotica for a living. The real raunchy, stroke-a-book kind of stuff that you read with one hand in your pants. My friends knew about it and pestered me for my pen name. Literally every time it came up in conversation for months. But I didn't want them to know because, well, you know. Who wants their best friends to read their smut? Eventually I ended up getting drunk on peach schnapps and told a couple of them. And the next day I saw several local purchases in the Amazon store that must have been them. Not one of them has ever mentioned my job since. It might be that they didn't like it and were trying to be polite. But I'm choosing to believe that a couple of them learned some fetishy things about themselves that day. Not my story. But a friend of mine went to a family event on his wife's side of the family and one of her sisters shows up with a date. This guy was a very famous PRN star from the 80s 90s. All the men recognized him. All the women were clueless. All the men told their wives on the drive home. They all told the sister. She took a lot of convincing before they finally broke up. All the women were confused about why it took so long for her to break up with him. All the men had a theory. Went to high school with a girl that became a playmate. There were rumors of topless photos of her going around in 8th grade. When I found out I looked up the pictures. Pretty much exactly what I expected. Saw her at a gas station not too long ago. Said hey. As per usual. Life remains mostly boring. Edit. Did not look up 8th grade pics as an adult. I was explaining she started her posing nude career early with a very unfortunately placed sentence. Edit 2. I get it guys. I didn't mean to say I looked up an 8th grader's Playboy pics. Please don't do this to me. This cannot be my top comment. I went to college with Eva Lovia. She was a bartender at a super popular bar I frequented that eventually got shut down. I didn't really know her. Mia Khalifa went to the high school 3 miles from me. They now have the best rep in the county. Found out my partner is a cam girl. Now I am sturbed to her shows during my lunch breaks. What's her name? Just want to help her career. I was in Girl Scouts with Riley Reid. And we were friends in high school. We were all pretty impressed when we found out lol. My friends and I all lost touch with her sometime in 10th grade. Years before she got into PRN. So I wouldn't have considered her a friend at that point. It is weird when she pops up and I'm not expecting it. Like on those late night We're 18 commercials. And she was mentioned once on Workaholics. She was always such a nice, down-to-earth person and I guess she's doing well for herself. So good for her. My dad's 52, half-sister, 23, has been in the industry since she was 18. She is not shy about it. She uses screen caps of herself for her Facebook profile cover photos. And would frequently post links. After she added me, I quickly discovered why no one else wanted to have her added. I was shocked about her oversharing of it. More than anything. This is my auntie who is only a year older than myself. We grew up together. Then years after our separation she adds me on Facebook then expects me to not be surprised about the photos and videos she posts of herself to her family and friends. Edit. Not sharing links or her name. Stop asking and stop messaging me about it. Edit 2. Female and married since I heard of this. Very loyal to my partner. So now I have not jerked it to my aunt. Edit 3. I never said that watching PRN was the same as cheating. I just meant it is something that myself and my so would not do. Every couple has their own standards. My uncle is an award-winning PRN star. I didn't find this out until I was about 16. And he started his career pre-internet although he continues to work today. And yes, your uncle. My college roommate was from Sedalia, Missouri. His family ended up letting one of his high school classmates stay with them. Brianna Love. She moved around a lot and apparently his house was one of the places she stayed at the longest. This girl from my high school did a few shoots later on in college. One of them was a 5-man gangbang. It was surreal seeing this girl who seemed innocent from afar get spit roasted by 2 veiny mandingas. When I was in the army I had reclassed from infantry to UAV. While at training, all the other prior service were sitting around talking in the day room while we were waiting on all the 8 students to finish formation. A couple of guys were talking and saying what their PRN name would be. This one dude who was a douche accidentally slipped he had done PRN and what his name was. One of the other guys did a quick Google search and found him in Abyssal PRN. He was eating this big chick out while getting railed by a dude. We all lost it in the room and never let him hear the end of it. One of my friend's moms did lesbian PRN. Me and my friend watched it. It didn't surprise me. I was pretty sure his mom was no, but he didn't know. He threw up constantly for 3 hours. Great insight in that last sentence. My friend keeps saying to my other friend, "You're dating a cocksucker." Well, most of us who dates does that. I'm gonna go ahead and save this thread. We'll expect it to be full of newly discovered lesser known PRN star stories by the end of the day. My mum was heartbroken and it destroyed the relationship she had with her only daughter. My sister basically told my mum to go herself for not being happy for her. It's been 10+ years. My mum still cries for her. What's worse is my sister isn't even in the industry anymore. For me, I had to deal with my entire high school printing out pictures and trying to trick me into watching the videos. I'm hilarious. It destroyed our family. It's caused my mum some severe mental distress and all for personal greed. Sorry this isn't a funny story for you all, but then, it hasn't exactly been fun for my family either. I know someone who worked in the film production for a major PRN company that's still around today. Tidbits from what I was told. They told me that majority of them are doing it for the $$$ to get through school. They make a lot in a very short time depending on how active they are. The freakier the scene is, the more they get paid. Cam shows is where they make the most money. The person I know quit their job in the industry because it was too demanding. Post-production took over 12+ hours a day just to finish editing to meet deadlines. TLDR. Money is crazy good in the industry. And is the main reason why many get into it. So people do PRN for the money then? Please tell me all the sites I need to avoid from now on. My 21-year brother just started dating one of the most viewed girls on Girls Do PRN. All I know is he's really into her and him. I have yet to meet her in person. But don't know if I'm excited or nervous about that. Sorry, I won't be posting her video or name out of respect for my brother. Edit. Yes. I've seen her video. Did not wank it. I'm admittedly not a huge Girls Do PRN fan. He knew beforehand that she did a Girls Do PRN video because I guess his friend pointed her out in the bar. Supposedly guys were swarming her the first night and even now when they still go out. Though whether it's because she's hot or because they recognize her, I don't know. My sister acted in mainstream TV and movies. She also was the first playmate to do the centerfold and cover on the same issue. She did Playboy when I was a freshman in high school. Constantly getting teased from guys saying I jerked it to your sister last night or have you seen your sister's tits? Full stop. Didn't bother me much. My sister is cool as and about as good of a big sister as I could ask for, so I was supportive of whatever she did to advance her career. The members of our church, though, not so much. Don't forget the names. Guys. The most popular name will be Arp's mom. About a year ago I was a bit horny, so I logged onto PRN Hub and right there on the front page was a compilation video of desperate amateur housewives or some such nonsense. I clicked on it and lo and behold, there is my estranged wife with a big old dick balls deep down her throat. Needless to say, it was a tad disconcerting. I seriously could not care in the least what that skank does. But what had me off so bad is what if our son, 17-year-old, or one of his friends happened across that video? If it was that easy for me to stumble across, then a horn dog 17-year-old kid I am sure could accidentally find it just as easily. So far so good though. It has been about a year now and I haven't heard anything regarding it, so I guess that is good. My freshman year at college I had a FWB thing going on with this girl Stephanie who lived on my floor in the dorms. Latina. Big pierced tits. And super aggressive sexually. Ed around with her for about 6 months, then one day I popped by her room and she's gone. Her roommate had no idea what happened, she just packed up and left. Well, a few years later I was browsing some fine pornographic films and wrestling with my trouser snake. Lo and behold, there's Stephanie. She goes by Jinx Maze. Anyway, it was certainly unexpected but not really surprising. She always just oozed sexuality and frankly she's a good performer. She knows how to work those assets. I hit her up to catch up and she messaged me back a couple weeks later and she seems to be doing really well for herself. My friend does some PRN. She said her family and friends have never said anything negative and support her. I met her parents and they just laugh at it and aren't creepy at all. It's the strangers that are rude and act like she should be ashamed. She says she gets a lot of your parents must be so ashamed and loves to say not really. My stepsister isn't a PRN star. But she was one of the dancers on Eric Pride's Call on Me video. That was actually before we were related. If I got into PRN my rents will probably slap me and forbid me from entering their house ever again. Rents. Was there really a need to shorten parents? I found out that my sister, who I thought was on the West Coast doing really well in college, has been in PRN for the past year. One of my friends was very happy to send me some pics asking if it was my sister. I haven't said a dying word yet to her or our parents. Hopefully I will never have to speak of it. And before any of you ask, absolutely not. Go yourself. Edit. A Vine course. This is my highest rated comment. Do you have battle toa? Full stop. Full stop. What? How rude. This thread gonna be good. Oh my god. That's disgusting. Naked pics online. Where? Where did they post those? I mean, there's so many of them though. Which one? Which ones did they post them to? I went to high school with a girl who just got in it last year. She was that girl who everyone wanted to be with. Honestly, she's just too sweet and beautiful for PRN after seeing her video. Also, she didn't have much rhythm lol. A lot of friends support her but a lot are hardcore shaming her for her choices. At uni, I went out with a girl who did BDSM PRN. She was doing it before we met but I didn't find out till we'd been going out for a while. TBH, I made an ass of it. I wasn't really bothered about the profession other than the obvious. But she understandably kept a lot of things secret from me and others and I was too much of a daft kid to deal with that. I was like, you should be able to tell me anything. And I thought I was being a good guy for not being judgmental. Rather than an intrusive asshole. I suppose you could say. I was trying to be supportive but I was doing it in a way that she didn't want and I just didn't get that. I think you've pretty much got to realize that, where it's a personal choice, it's a choice that most people probably wouldn't make. Therefore your own perspective and understanding probably doesn't cut it. But, well, young and stupid. Not me, but my college friends went to high school with Janice Griffith. They were all abuzz when they heard a girl from their HS broke her ankle being thrown off a roof into a pool by Dan Bilzerian. Now she's in the PRNO limelight. Good for her. Found an old VHS of my parents on their honeymoon. Argus Reddit. My high school principal's sister was a pretty well-known PRN actress. Within hours of that bit of info coming to light, there were full-size printouts plastered all over the school. Principal wasn't happy about it and suspended a bunch of people. Eventually the novelty wore off, but for a few weeks there was a pretty good chance of seeing PRN in the halls and classrooms. It was great. I went to high school with someone who was on facial abuse. Yes, that one. She was pretty attractive in a trashy kinda way. So it was cool to see her naked. But then they made her throw up on herself. By making her throw up I mean they were abuse her face too much. I was attending a religious school at the time. And my best friend had recently dropped out. Well, one day at the mall, My boyfriend and I were talking about how much money is in PRN when my friend tells me that PRN is how she paid for her freshman year of college. I didn't judge her, the thought has crossed my mind more than once, but when she was talking about it I saw the pain in her eyes. She was a lot more ed up than I ever realized. It's been a few years but she's in a great, healthy relationship with a guy I've known since high school. She's also very active in her religion now too. It makes me happy to know that her life didn't go completely downhill like some of the individuals in these stories.